Hey guys, back with another quick video. Just a quick little thing on how I thaw out my frozen rats to feed my snakes. So first thing we got here is this cheap, simple temp controller. I got off of Amazon for like 10 or 12 bucks. It's supposed to be a heat mat thermostat. The great thing about it is that the temp probe is actually waterproof, and it has a suction cup with it, and you'll see why that's awesome here in one quick second. So what I got here to make like a quick little extension cord, I make my own temp controllers, and this is a male end and a female end that I had left over from other builds, and I just fixed it, made a quick little extension cord. So that plugs into the temp controller, and then this hot plate right here, like 10 or 12 bucks from Walmart, plugs into the temp controller. You can see it's off. Saw the cord hit it earlier, didn't smoke, it's not on fire. So what I do is I get this like 20 quart stock pot. You can find these at the Dollar Tree sometime, or at Walmart for just a couple bucks. So depending on how much you're going to thaw, depends on how much water you're going to put in here. So this is maybe 1.5 inches of water. And I start with hot water so that way the temp controller doesn't have as far to go. So you can see right here, ambient temperature in the room is 83. So what I do is I take and I stick this in the water with the temp probe submerged. And you can see that the temp controller is climbing. So, kick the hot plate on here. Right, so that water is already at 93 degrees. As soon as this completes the circuit and tells this to heat, you'll see these lights come on right here. So right now I have the temp controller set to 77, which is the default because I unplugged it. So I'm going to crank it up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Click set. So now you can see it's heating. It's currently at 96, and this light right here kicked on. It's heating. So I'll turn that off and back on. So stock pot with water. These guys have already thawed under water, right? Just some frozen rat pups. I knocked the camera there for a second, sorry about that. So, just take your rat pups and toss them in there just like that. They can get wet, that's fine. Snakes don't care about it. So if you want them to sink down to the bottom, put some water in there. I have snakes that sometimes are finicky eaters and they don't like wet rats for whatever reason, so I just grab some paper towels and dry those off before I get to that snake's tote, because they're bougie. They don't like wet rats. But typically the smaller snakes and the hungry snakes really don't care if they're wet or not. They're just hungry. So you're probably wondering what this is right here. So if you ever get the snake totes, like the Freedom Breeders or the Vision totes that don't have the water dish, you can get these PVC collars from the hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot, and these are really nice because the deli cups that you can get drop right in there. And what that does is it doesn't allow the snake to grab this and get up underneath it or tip it over. And then you just take the deli cup out and then you change it. So that's an old school trick. It's been around a while. But why I have this here is if I'm doing a lot of rats, this water will be about halfway up, and I'll put like 3 or 4 baggies, medium, large, weaned rats in here, and they'll be floating up to the top. Well, I want those rats submerged down underneath the water. So what I do is I take this collar and I'll stick it and I'll push all those baggies down underneath the water, and then I'll take this clamp and I'll clamp it to the side so that way it holds the baggies down. Now usually what I'll have to do is I'll have to get 2 of these collars and slide them in place, and you can see those just perfectly fit right in there. and then clamp that one down, and then it holds the rats submerged underwater, so you don't have hot rats on the bottom and cold rats on top. They're all submerged, they heat evenly. About halfway through the heating cycle, kind of mix the bag up, so the ones that are in the center get hot as well. But right now, I just got some rat pups I'm heating up for my hatchlings, so I don't have a big batch of rats that I need to heat up. And you can already see, I don't know if you heard it in the background, but the sizzling from that heating up, that our heating element is actually off, because we shot up to 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's good and hot. So with these already being thawed out, they're only going to have to be in here for a couple minutes for them to be at the right temperature to feed the snakes. Now what I'll do in addition to that is I'll get a shoebox tote like this, and I'll take some of that hot water and I'll put it in here with that baggie, or have the baggie with hot water in it and set it in here. That way the rats don't cool down to air temperature as I go through and feed the snakes. Now I have a bigger stock pot than this when I have to do my entire feeding day. Right now I have a bunch of males and females that are breeding. They went off of food, so I don't have to mass feed right now. In the off season I do. I have a stock pot that's twice this size that I can do all of my rats. And right now I have 60 snakes in my collection, and most of those are taking mediums and larges. So a stock pot twice this size, you can do 60 rats, no problem. So just a quick little simple way. Like I said, the temp controller off of Amazon was 10 or 12 bucks. The hot plate from Walmart was 10 or 12 bucks, and then you can find this size stock pot at Walmart, or sometimes the Dollar Tree, dollar stores for a buck. So for 20 bucks, you can have a rapid heating system for your frozen rats for your snakes. That way you don't have to pull them out, set the rats on the counter, let them thaw, and then heat them up under running water. That's a waste of electricity, and it's a waste of water. I don't like wasting resources. So this is fast, it's efficient, and it works for me. So just trying to give you guys some tips. Hope it helped. If you got any comments, hit me down in the comments section. Thanks, guys.